Hi everyone, I'm AJ Fox, your Ad-ologist. Welcome to the September 2008 Ad-ology Lab Report, a podcast made especially for advertising agency principals and new business teams. Promoting food to children has become a $1.6 billion industry, and that doesn't even include the restaurant industry's attempts to generate demands from kids and teens. Now, the restaurant industry is under increasing fire from the Center for Science in the Public Interest, which just announced that most kids' meals contain a calorie overload. But persuading kids to eat food designed specifically for them is growing more complicated. 14 major food companies have formed the Children's Food and Beverage Advertising Initiative to develop guidelines to prevent the Federal Trade Commission from taking action against them. The guidelines include reformulating products to be healthier, as well as pledging only to promote better-for-you products to children. Keep these details in mind when you're working on campaigns that market new food products to kids. While some demographers expect the American middle class to disappear, Pew Research reports that just over half of all consumers consider themselves to be middle class. Pew also reports that there are actually 4 middle class segments, each with their own unique characteristics in regards to demographic factors such as age, gender, and income, as well as how they rate their quality of life and their outlook for the future. The top of the class is well-educated and financially secure with a good outlook on life. The satisfied middle includes both older and younger people with modest incomes. The anxious middle has a better than average family income, but a lower perceived quality of life. And the struggling middle is mostly women and minorities with lower incomes. Read the complete demographic details on newbusinesshunter.net, and when your clients start talking about marketing to the middle class, remind them of the differences that exist within this same consumer group. A new MRI consumer study shows that 32% of American adults are ad adverse, meaning they are either not interested in or have not been exposed to advertising in TV, radio, newspapers, magazines, and the internet. The second largest segment belongs to those consumers who respond best to ads in mass media. 17% of adults fall into this category. And while traditional media continues to appeal to the lion's share of consumers, a full 9% of adults prefer ads on emerging media, which includes non-traditional media like mobile devices and product placements in movies, TV shows, and video games. As you might suspect, these consumers tend to be younger, with a median age of 35 and a half. They're first adopters of new products and services and consider themselves to be fashionable. But one of the most interesting details about this group is that they say celebrities influence them, and a celebrity endorsement might make them consider or even buy a product. So if you're focusing on non-traditional advertising, make sure this younger, pro-innovative, pro-fashion, and pro-celebrity consumer is who you're trying to reach, because they're the most likely to be watching. Well, there's never a lack of advice from industry professionals about the art of negotiation. The majority of suggestions stress the importance of listening during the negotiation process, as well as making eye contact, asking questions, and leaving with a firm handshake. A recent article, though, from Marketing Scoop talks about the powerful importance of silence while negotiating. In addition to the typical advice on listening, the article also suggests what they call a 10-second strategy. The next time you're negotiating and the other party says something like, "Well, that's my offer," don't utter a word for 10 seconds. It's likely they'll jump right in with another offer or something to break the uncomfortable silence. 10 seconds may not sound like a long time, but during a meeting, those 10 seconds of silence may feel like an eternity. While Marketing Scoop doesn't offer any examples of the effectiveness of this strategy, I've used it a number of times, and I find it works in most cases. The key, I think, is to not look like you're going to say something. Just lock eyes with your prospect in a non-threatening manner and count to 10 in your head. Another key is finding a comfortable balance between speaking up and keeping quiet. The 10-second strategy might be too long. For example, that's just 5 seconds. Just keep in mind that if it feels uncomfortable to you, it probably feels less comfortable to your prospect. Find an even balance in the role that silence should play in your negotiations. Who knows, maybe a 5-second strategy is what you need. As always, link to this article and more at newbusinesshunter.net. Well, that's it for this edition of the Ad-ology Lab Report. I'm AJ Fox. Happy hunting.